Hello everyone! Today we'll see the life history of the famous scientist and mathematician Galileo Galilei. Galileo was born in Pisa, Tuscany on February 15, 1564, the oldest son of Vincenzo Galilei, a musician. In his middle teens, Galileo attended the monastery school at Vallambrasa near Florence and then in 1581 matriculated at the University of Pisa where he has to study medicine. However, he became enamored with mathematics and decided to make the mathematical subjects and philosophy his profession, against the protests of his father. Galileo then began to prepare himself to teach Aristotelian philosophy and mathematics, which later laid foundation to most of his groundbreaking theories and claims, and several of his lectures have survived through time and can be seen in the museum dedicated to him. After shifting through jobs varying from demonstrating already existing theories to recreating proofs as a university professor and a chairperson for several years, Galileo finally decided to dedicate his time completely to the advancements in science. His first was La Bilancetta, meaning the little balance. In 1588, after he was appointed the chair of science division in the University of Pisa, he began the task of disproving Aristotle's theories. His first experiment was to drop bodies of different masses from the Leaning Tower of Pisa and conclude that gravity acts differently on different bodies. Thus began his first steps towards revolutionizing science as we know it. He also made fundamental contributions to the sciences of motion, astronomy, and strength of materials, and to the development of the scientific method. He also made revolutionary telescopic discoveries, including the 4 largest moons of Jupiter. His attacks on Aristotle made him unpopular with his colleagues, and in 1592 his contract was not renewed at the university. His patrons, however, secured him the chair of mathematics at the University of Padua, where he taught from 1592 until 1610. Although Galileo's salary was considerably higher there, his responsibilities as the head of the family meant that he was chronically pressed for money. His university salary could not cover all his expenses, and he therefore took in well-to-do boarding students whom he tutored privately in such subjects as fortification. He also sold a proportional compass or sector of his own devising made by an artisan whom he employed in his house. Perhaps because of these financial problems, he did not marry, but he did have an arrangement with a Venetian woman, Marina Gamba, who bore him 2 daughters and a son. In the midst of his busy life, he continued his research on motion, and by 1609, he had determined that the distance fallen by a body is proportional to the square of the elapsed time and that the trajectory of a projectile is a parabola, both conclusions that contradicted Aristotelian physics. Galileo invented an early type of thermometer amongst many other things that we will be seeing in this video. Contrary to popular belief, he did not invent the telescope, but he did make significant improvements to it that enabled astronomical observation. In 1610, Galileo discovered the 4 biggest moons of Jupiter and the rings of Saturn. This was a major leap towards modern-day astronomics and astrodynamics, and he was the first ever man to actually document that the Earth is round and not flat. Wait a second, I didn't tell you that he discovered that the Earth is round. He only observed and documented it in his notes, which are rumored to be still around and under close study by our modern-day scientists. Well then, the question that comes to your mind is, who actually discovered that the Earth was round? Well, if we go back into history, there were many people who claimed that Earth was actually round and not flat. But the proof that they claimed the Earth was round starts with Aristotle around 300 BCE. All the others are just rumors, and there is no hard evidence that people actually claimed that Earth was round. Anyways, that is for another biography video about Aristotle. But for now, Just keep in mind that Galileo was the first ever to document and prove it using the horizon theory that Earth was round. Though he did make amazing discoveries after that, this one triumphs all his works. It is important to note that Galileo made most of his discoveries using the previous works of Aristotle, the famous Greek mathematician and physicist. Although he used most of Aristotelian geometry and physics to disprove his works, he also made significant progress in the fields of gravity and inertia of motion. His famous inventions include the celaton, Galileo's micrometer, Galileo's proportional compass, Galileo's escapement. On the other hand, I might have already mentioned that Galileo did make some pretty amazing discoveries. Earth's orbit around the Sun proved to be one of his amazing discoveries. The principle of pendulum was another such revolutionizing concept. The law of falling bodies was taken from the works of Aristotle, and Galileo proved that different bodies of different masses fall to the ground with different speeds when allowed to freely fall from the same height. Surface of the moon is rough and uneven, contrary to the popular belief that moon's surface was smooth and even. 4 moons of Jupiter was noteworthy of his works, though he progressed with caution in his regard. Rings of Saturn was another such astronomical discovery that was so advanced in terms of scientific knowledge that Galileo, despite many efforts, failed to explain how rings actually exist around a planet in free space. Many stars are existing in this universe that are not visible to the eye. Though this had no hard evidence, Galileo thought that this might lay a foundation for endeavors by future scientists. For his heresy in claiming that Earth orbits the Sun, the Church wasn't impressed. It went against their idea that Earth was flat. For this, Galileo was sentenced to life imprisonment by the Roman Catholic Church in 1633. He was not tortured or executed. He served his sentence under house arrest, during which time he wrote dozens of books with hundreds of theories and claims, some of which are yet to be studied and proved. Unfortunately, he died at his house in 1642 due to an illness. And that was the end of a great scientist of that time and also a great mathematician. And that's a wrap, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do watch other videos too. And I hope you get more than what you're looking for on my channel. Thank you for your time.